Hey piano teachers, you've probably heard about GarageBand, but have you ever actually tried using it? It's actually really easy to use and get started, and it is mind-blowingly amazing when it comes to what it can do to a simple chord progression. So I'm going to show you exactly how to get started in this video. Alright, so let's record our first track. So to start a new recording, I'm going to press the plus button in the top left corner, and I'm going to click on Create New Song. Now the first thing that comes up is a clickable or a sort of a sliding list of all the instruments that you could possibly choose to record your track with. So for the sake of today's example, I'm going to choose guitar, because it's got lots of great options that sound pretty amazing that we can use. Now you'll notice there is a section up the top here that says live loops. I'm going to cover live loops in a later module. We're not going to worry about that now. So just make sure you're on tracks, and then I'm just going to click the actual symbol of the guitar here to get started. Okay, so here is one example of the instrument layout for GarageBand. So you can see down here we've got some strings that you can pluck. We've got in the left-hand side of the screen, just below the timeline, we've got, it says Roots Rock. I just clicked on that. So this is where you can select a variety of guitars to choose from. I'm actually going to choose an acoustic guitar to begin. So you can see that the screen looks slightly different for each guitar. If we were looking at a violin, it would have 4 strings and it would look like a violin. If we were looking at a bass, it would have 4 strings and look like a bass. Again, same kind of thing. Now you can see here too, on the right hand side of the screen, there's a toggle between chords and notes. So if I go to notes, then I can actually just play individual notes. All right, we don't want to do that because I'm not a guitarist. I don't know where these notes are, but I can strum some chords pretty easily. And there's 2 ways to strum a chord on GarageBand. One is to just strum through the strings like this, or just click on the chord name at the top: G, C, F, etc. And that's the way that I would recommend we do it today. Now we're actually going to play with another setting here, and that's the autoplay function, which is on the right hand side just above the B flat chord. And if I pop it onto autoplay number 1, you'll see the strings disappear because we're not going to strum. Autoplay are actually strumming patterns that you can use and choose to use for your arrangements. They're already pre-programmed, and that's why they sound really good. So if I now, on autoplay 1, click C, we're going to hear this. So that's kind of groovy. We've got some rhythm going on, as you can tell. So if I go to number 2, this is number 3, kind of a bit more country, and number 4. As you can see, you can waste a lot of time with this app. So get students to pick one of those really, really quickly. Otherwise you'll be going around in circles and wasting a whole lot of time. I actually really like number 3, so I'm going to stick to number 3. All right, so let's go through some of the other settings before we hit record. So if I choose the spanner icon at the top here, so that's near the top right, you've got information now about the key. So if you're going to be using chords, then you need to make sure you're in the right key. I'm going to be demonstrating this in C major, but if I click key signature, then I can choose a number of other key areas that I'd like to work with, and that will change the chords that show up. The chords, of course, are the ones that you'll find in the circle of fifths, which is why this aligns so well to my 4-chord composing framework. If you're not familiar with that, then do head to timtopham.com/chords to find out more about it. It uses the circle of fifths as a basis for chord progression and composing. You can see here that in the key of C, all of these chords from F to the left are all the 6 main chords in the key of C. And indeed, with C in the middle, we've got the primary triads of F on the right, and G on the left. We've also got B flat and B diminished. Now these are less likely to be used in the key of C, but they're still chords that are interesting. However, you might not want one of those. So if we go back to the spanner icon, you can go to Edit Chords, and you could choose, for example, the B flat diminished chord. Oh, that's right. We're flipping through. So this is the C chord. If I go up to B diminished, let's say I don't really want B diminished, I could change that to B minor, let's say, or whatever we actually wanted, and then go done. So there's a simple way to change whatever chords that are there, but for the most part, when students are beginning, all the chords they need are actually there. You can see there's a little blue triangle metronome that just toggles the metronome on and off. I recommend leaving it on for doing your recording. The slider is the volume control, so that will stay where it is for now. And then in the middle, you've got your player transport controls, they're called, which is rewind on the left, play in the middle, and record on the right. And we're about to try a recording in a moment. So let's just jump straight in now and do a little recording. I'm going to use the chord progression of C, E minor, A minor, and G, just to be simple. And we'll finish on C. I should also mention too, the length at the moment is 8 bars. So you can see across the top, just above the wood grain of the guitar, you can see a strip that says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then there's a plus at the end. So that's the length of recording that we've got. So it's an 8-bar recording. I think that's going to be fine for now. So I'm just going to click the record button, and we'll record by pressing on the chords in order to set our recording up. Here we go. This is how it works. So hit record, C, E minor, A minor, and G. I'm going to let it play, and it's now in playback mode. So it's just playing what I recorded. Now, did you notice there at bar 5, the chord didn't change at quite the right time? One of the tricks students will learn pretty quickly is that when you're using this autoplay, you have to click the autoplay for the next chord just before the start of the next bar so it can start the new strumming pattern. If you miss it and you do it right on the beat, then the first part of the new chord will be part of the old one, which is what you heard there. So if we wanted to undo it or redo it, we can click that arrow thing that kind of looks like a U-turn on the U-turn symbol going to the left, and you can see that it's now blank. I'm going to hit the back to the start button and we'll try that one more time. Here we go. C, E minor, A minor, and G. Oh, I missed it. Anyway, you get the idea. So that's the starting track and the way to get some information into GarageBand really quickly. Now, the great thing about what we've done here is we've just recorded a really simple backing track with one instrument, guitar playing. So if I wanted to, I could play along to that. Already we've got an arrangement that sounds actually pretty good, and that's just one instrument. Wait till we add some more instruments to the mix. You're going to be absolutely blown away by the power of this bit of software. Okay, so you've seen how easy it is to input chords using the autoplay feature of GarageBand. And that is really the best way to make a start for students if you want to have a quick win with recording a student's chord progression onto another instrument and allowing them to play along to it. So yeah, that's our first session. In the next lesson, I'm actually going to show you how you can record live an acoustic piano or take an input from a piano, a digital piano, directly in and record that along with your chord progression. You could either do that first, or as I've shown you today, it's actually more fun to start with a different instrument because we're all familiar with piano, so it's fun to use a bass guitar or strings or something like that. So next lesson, we'll do some recording of an acoustic or a digital piano, and then we'll go and add bass and drums and all the other fun instruments too to fill out our mix. All right, look forward to seeing you in the next module.